Hello, fellow Whovians. Well, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Yep, time for another Doctor Who episode review. Alright, well, today's story is called The Mutants. And no, it has nothing to do with the X-Men, unfortunately. So, here we go. In the 30th century, the Earth Empire is contracting and plans are being made to decolonize the colony world of Solos. The militaristic marshal and other human soldiers, known as overlords, rule from Skybase 1, an orbiting space station. The marshal opposes the decolonization plans outlined to him by an administrator sent from Earth, and is also obsessed with eradicating the mutants, or mutts, that have sprung up on the planet below. The Solonians themselves are a tribal people, split between those who actively oppose the opposition, such as Kai, and those like Varn who collaborate with the Imperialists. Indeed, the Marshal and Baron ensure the Administrator is murdered before he can confirm to Kai and other tribal chiefs that the Earth Empire is indeed withdrawing from Solos. The Doctor and Jo arrive on Skybase 1, their TARDIS having been transported there by the Time Lords. They have with them a message box which will only open for an intended recipient, and that's not the Marshal or his entourage, but seems to be for Kai, who has been framed for the murder of the Administrator. Jo and Kai flee to the surface of Solos, which is poisonous to humans during daylight hours. This quickly affects Jo, but she survives with Kai's help. That's good. The Doctor learns from the Marshal and his chief scientist Jaeger that they are involved in an experiment which uses rocket barrages to terraform Solos, making the air breathable for humans, regardless of the cost to indigenous life. Varen by now has discovered the Marshal's treachery, but events make him an outlaw on Skybase. The Doctor makes contact, and together they persuade Stubbs and Cotton, the most senior soldiers, to the Marshal that much is wrong on Skybase. He then flees to Solos of Varen, and at the Thasian mine where Kai and Jo are hiding, he encounters many mutts, who are not as hostile as they first appeared. The Doctor passes the message box to Kai, and it opens to reveal ancient tablets and etchings which are written in the language of the Old Ones of the planet. Help in avoiding poisonous gas released by the Marshal is provided by fugitive human scientist Sondergaard, who lives in the caves and knows much about Solonian anthropology. Sondergaard explains he tried to inform Earth control by the Marshal's evil, but he was prevented and forced to flee to the caves, where radiation seems to have affected him. He interprets the context of the box as a Lost Solos book of Genesis, and then the Doctor calculates a Solonian year to be equivalent to 2,000 human years, with natural changes in the population every 500 years within the cycle. Investigating a more radioactive part of the caves, the Doctor thus deduces that the mutant phase is a natural part of the Solonian life cycle. Varen is now becoming a mutt himself. He hides this fact and leads a Solonian attack on the Skybase, which results in his death and those of many of his warriors. On Skybase, Jo, Kai, Stubbs, and Cotton are captured by the Marshal, and Stubbs is killed in a failed escape attempt. The Doctor, meanwhile, has returned to the Skybase, without Sondergaard, who seems too weak following the radiation contamination. He instead returns to the caves to communicate with the mutants and explain to them their change is natural and not to be feared. The Doctor is now back on Skybase and surmises the Marshal to be mad. Gee, you think? It becomes clear that the Earth government has now dispatched an investigator to look into the strange events on Solos. The Marshal's rocket attacks have now terraformed the planet, but they have left a hideous environmental impact, and he knows he must clean this up or face problems when the investigator arrives. Under duress, the Marshal is taken to a prisoner. The Doctor uses Jaeger's technology to conduct a rapid decontamination of the planet's surface. The investigator arrives and demands answers, but is given more lies by the Marshal, supported by the Doctor. Luckily, Jo, Kai, and Cotton have escaped their detention and arrive in time to help the investigator see the truth of the situation on Solos and the crimes of the Marshal and Jaeger. The Doctor accuses them of the most brutal and callous of serious crimes against the defenseless people it's ever been my misfortune to encounter. Sondergaard now reaches the Skybase with some mutants, one of whom scares the investigator enough that he accepts the Marshal's analysis that the creatures should be killed. Kai now begins a process of mutation that is accelerated beyond the mutant phase so that he emerges as a radiant angel-like super being. Okay then. He communicates with thought transference, can float, and can move through whole walls. Dispensing justice, Kai eradicates the Marshal. Yeager has been killed too, and the investigator now makes sense of the situation. Sondergaard and Cotton elect to stay on Solos to see the other Solanians go through the mutation process, while Joe and the Doctor slip away. Their mission from the Time Lord is complete. So yeah, this is a very interesting story. So yeah, anyway, let's get some production and other elements of the story. Working titles for the story included Independence and the Emergence. The opening shot of the story features a bedraggled, hermit-like bearded figure, Sidney Johnson, shambling out of the mist towards the camera. Both fans and John Perry have compared this scene to the It's Man at the start of most episodes of Monty Python's Flying Circus. The DVD release of the story also references this in the information text commentary. A Solanian mutant was to appear in the latest story, The Brain of Morbius. It is killed in the opening scene. The Doctor, played by Tom Baker, commenting, "Poor mutt." The mines of Solos were filmed at Chislehurst Caves in Bromley. They also filmed at Blue Water Quarry, which was the setting for the planet Solos, before it was a shopping center, and Stonehouse Farm Caves, which was the entrance to Solos Caves. George Pravada had previously played Dennis in The Enemy of the World, and later played Castellan Spandrel in The Deadly Assassin. Christopher Cole had previously played Technician Phipps opposite Patrick Troughton in the 1969 serial The Seeds of Death. Jeffrey Palmer had previously played Masters in Doctor Who and the Silurians, and will later play Captain Hardaker in the 2007 Christmas special Voyage of the Damned. This serial is mentioned in Salman Rushdie's novel The Satanic Verses. Authors David J. Howe and Stephen James Walker interpreted this as criticizing the serial for alleged racist attitudes in their book Doctor Who: The Television Companion. Writers Bob Baker and David Martin, as well as producer Ray Letts, intended for the mutants to have an anti-racist message. Yeah, not sure if that actually worked out so well there, guys, but yeah. So, very interesting story and some, other interesting things going on. So, overall, I give the mutants 3 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next week as we meet the Time Monster. Should be interesting, I hope. So until then, this is Hoovy and Queen saying, "Oh my Gideon! When I say run, run! I've inversed the polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a chili, baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.